The 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit has put a quiet but unmistakable marker down in the Caribbean, releasing imagery that shows Battalion Landing Team March 6 conducting live fire with LAV-25 infantry fighting vehicles at Camp Santiago, Puerto Rico. The photos, posted on November 2, 2025, document a gunnery event held on September 23 and feature reconnaissance-focused crews drilling with the M242 25 by 137 mm Bushmaster chain gun. It is a small tactical vignette with conspicuous strategic framing. Puerto Rico sits within rapid sailing and flying distance of the southeastern Caribbean, where the temperature of U.S.-Venezuela relations has climbed and regional militaries are increasing presence, patrols, and exercises. In that context, the decision to spotlight LAV-25 crews in Puerto Rico reads as intentional signaling about readiness, reach, and tempo. What the images reveal is the familiar ritual of Marine Light Armored Reconnaissance training, sharpened by geography. LAV-25 gunnery emphasizes first-round accuracy, controlled rates of fire, and seamless switching between ammunition types, skills demanded by the externally powered, dual-feed M242. In practice, crews are expected to rapidly shift from armor-piercing sabos that can punish light vehicles to high-explosive rounds that suppress dismounted fighters or shred soft-skinned targets. The stabilized turret and day-night optics help maintain hit probability as the vehicle traverses uneven terrain or engages fleeting silhouettes. These are not esoteric talents, they are the bedrock of a reconnaissance formation's combat credibility, where the ability to see first, talk first, and, if necessary, shoot first is the margin between shaping the fight and being shaped by it. The LAV-25 has never been a surrogate main battle tank, and the Puerto Rico footage does not pretend otherwise. It is a fast, amphibious 8x8 with a 3-person crew and space for scouts, designed to push feelers down roads, across beaches, and along the scrub and cane fields that characterize parts of the Caribbean littoral. Tall whip antennas, common on reconnaissance-configured vehicles and visible in the released images, speak to the platform's core identity, a sensor-to-shooter node more than a battering ram. Marine Light Armored Reconnaissance doctrine assigns missions like screening, route and area reconnaissance, zone security, and economy of force tasks. The intention is to create time and options for commanders by illuminating enemy dispositions, protecting flanks, and opening movement corridors, work that hinges on mobility, communications, and disciplined gunnery rather than armor mass. Because the venue matters, Camp Santiago adds a layer of operational realism that a stateside range might not. From Puerto Rico, a Marine Expeditionary Unit can move quickly along the island arc, stage forward refueling points, and knit together sea and airborne crossings to influence events across the eastern Caribbean. The United States has already demonstrated an interest in the region's flashpoints, from public diplomatic statements to defense cooperation activities with partners, and the visible presence of a MEU's reconnaissance element is the kind of contact layer posture that complicates an adversary's calculus without tipping into overt escalation. By highlighting a late September gunnery event in early November, the Marine Corps is also reinforcing a narrative of continuity. Crews train, validate, and then sail or fly on schedule, a rhythm that gives policymakers timely options if deterrence falters. Technically, the LAV-25's M242 is no longer the most potent medium-caliber weapon on the battlefield, and Marines know it. The 25 mm gun is accurate, reliable, and supported by deep logistics, but it lacks the reach and terminal effect of 30 by 173 mm cannons that now equip many Pier 8x8 platforms. That disparity is being addressed in the Marine Modernization Roadmap, which pairs existing LAV-25 formations with new capabilities as they arrive. The Amphibious Combat Vehicle 30, fitted with a remotely operated turret, and the Mk-44 Bushmaster 2, brings more standoff and lethality while keeping gunners under armor. The Advanced Reconnaissance Vehicle program promises a suite of improved sensors, networking, and survivability features to refresh the screen line in the 2030s. Until those fleets are fielded in numbers, training cycles like the one at Camp Santiago keep legacy crews lethal, proficient, and integrated with the larger Marine Air-Ground Task Force. The tactical roles a reconnaissance detachment would play in a crisis near Venezuela are neither glamorous nor hypothetical. LAV-25 elements would likely be tasked to screen amphibious lodgements, probe coastal road nets that connect small ports and airstrips, secure helicopter landing zones, and conduct route reconnaissance to clear mobility corridors for follow-on infantry and logistics. These jobs demand speed, judgment, and the ability to distinguish a threat from background noise in complex human terrain. Crews must master the choreography of contact, scout team spotting and passing precise grids, gunners cueing optics and switching ammunition without losing the line of aim, vehicle commanders managing radio nets while navigating rough track. The Puerto Rico range work is the rehearsal space where those habits are built and measured against standards. There is also a messaging dimension that depends on credibility rather than spectacle. A single LAV-25 shoot does not deter a state actor, a force that can repeatedly demonstrate competence, endurance, and tight integration with aviation and logistics does. By releasing imagery tied to a specific date and place, the 22nd MEU offers a verifiable breadcrumb that suggests a larger mosaic: amphibious ships cycling through workups, aircraft practicing deck handling in confined area landings, and small units cross-training on the island's military facilities. To an adversary's planner, these are indicators of a force that can close the distance quickly, scout effectively, and impose friction in the early hours of a contingency. To regional partners, they can be read as reassurance that the United States is investing in the unglamorous tasks that make rapid crisis response possible. Critics might point to the LAV-25's age and vulnerabilities in the face of modern anti-armor threats. The caution is fair, and Marine doctrine acknowledges it by warning against decisive fights with enemy formations equipped with medium-caliber cannons and advanced anti-tank guided missiles. The counterpoint is twofold. First, reconnaissance formations are designed to avoid such closing battles, relying on speed, dispersion, and information advantage to set conditions rather than absorb punishment. Second, modernization is arriving in increments that can be paired with tactics to mitigate risk: remote turrets that shrink crew exposure, better optics that extend detection ranges, and network sensors that let a reconnaissance patrol pass target data to aviation or long-range fires without lingering in a kill zone. Training that emphasizes first-round effects and quick transitions between ammo types is part of that survivability equation. Seen through that lens, the Camp Santiago drills are less a standalone headline than a snapshot of a force in motion. The Marines do not have the luxury of choosing when a crisis occurs, so they practice the parts they can control: proficiency at the weapon, fluency on the radios, and confidence in the small unit leaders who decide when to push, when to hold, and when to break contact. The release date and the region's political climate ensure that outside observers will connect dots to current tensions, but the internal audience, crews, staff, and commanders, reads something more practical. They see validation events ticked off, maintenance cycles synchronized to deployment windows, and a reconnaissance detachment that can be plugged into a larger scheme of maneuver with minimal friction. The larger story is one of continuity and transition. The LAV-25 remains an indispensable tool for Marine Light Armored Reconnaissance, and on September 23 its crews did what they have done for decades: put steel on target and prove that the basics are sharp. The next chapter will bring new vehicles, heavier guns, and denser networks that extend the eyes and arms of the screen line. Between those bookends, the Marines have to hold real terrain and real timelines. That is why an otherwise unremarkable gunnery day in Puerto Rico matters. It is a visible reminder that readiness is built in the small, repetitive acts that underpin deterrence, and that in the Caribbean, where distances are short and escalation can move fast, the unit that sees first and speaks clearly often wins without firing again.